In the last video, we looked at tracking the broadcast results, confirmation statuses, and communications efforts to the bid vendor database after sending the broadcast. In this video, we're going to look at what comprises a vendor record and how to edit or change those vendor records and the cycle of using a vendor record within PrimeBid. The vendor records are accessed from the vendors menu in PrimeBid. There are two major groups of options. One is for the master vendor database record editing. The second is for editing the bid vendor database. A master vendor database can be created from scratch or a new one created. An existing one can be opened from a hard drive. You can have several main databases for perhaps different states available to you. And you can then edit those records either in a single editing record or in a spreadsheet style, which I'll show you momentarily. You can set a password and you can export the master vendor database as well. These same options are available for the bid vendor database. Looking at a master vendor record or editing it in a single record editing screen shows the vendor code, company name, and a find box for us to be able to search on different vendors to edit. You see several tabs running across the window that have information related to the company that's being edited. For instance, in the Company tab, you'll see the basic company information of contacting and the specific information about the contractor's license, website, main section, vendor rating, etc. These options are set and they apply to the company. The Contacts tab will display 10 contacts that are available to be filled in for this particular company, including their name, title, phone contacts, and email addresses associated with those contacts. There are 10 user-definable fields that you can decide to name and put the option choices in. For instance, you might have a contract maximum amount with options of $10,000, $50,000, $250,000, etc., and assign one of those to this record as to what is the largest or maximum contract amount that you would let to this vendor. There's also DBE information that can be assigned to a vendor. They can be a minority business enterprise, for instance, and checked, and their registration number filled in for the agencies that have them notated as an MBE contractor. You have all the different choices of DBE types to specifically assign to this vendor. There is a list of sections that go beyond the main section that would identify this electrical contractor. For instance, they could do telecom and data, security systems, fire alarms, etc. And going to Division 16, we could select different choices and add them to the list of sections of work that they typically bid and use this as part of our lookup criteria. The regions in which the subcontractor works can be defined by you and added or have this list changed, or you can use this list to identify the geographical regions where the contractor will bid work. These are user definable as well. The customers are user definable. If this electrical contractor would like to follow our company to bid Walmart's, wherever we bid them, we could pick Walmart as a customer and add them to their identifier and use it as a lookup. Also, we could do it by building type to say these people do hospitals or wastewater treatment plants or some other specific building type. Notes are notes that you put in, and histories are information that is generated by the software at the end of a bid to recap the contacting of the company and to identify their bids in a matrix, how they stacked up, and the storing of that history. Histories are automatically generated by PrimeBid, and they're done very rapidly and efficiently for a large number of subs that may have participated in a bid. This is the single editing record, and it's very easily edited. There's another method of editing these records, which is to edit them in a spreadsheet style format. Under the vendors menu, we would choose edit the master vendor records in a grid. That will bring up a spreadsheet which is resizable. The spreadsheet shows each vendor record in a row and sorts on each of those fields potentially in the vendor record. So we could sort on phone number, fax number, city, state, and have the database displayed and ready for editing based on one of those sorts. We can also scroll across the spreadsheet to see the information that is there and edit it. There are many different available fields for each row, and we can isolate those fields down to a group of fields to display on the spreadsheet. For instance, selecting contact 1 and then making the columns with the appropriate width in order to be able to easily identify and edit these records and change them and evaluate them to see that everything is correct. The information in the database is easily accessible either by the single editing record or by the editing the vendor records in a grid. Also in the vendors menu is the option to set the password, which would secure your data from unwanted edits, and to export the master vendor database to an Excel-like CSV file where that data can be transferred to other programs and put in there through that CSV export. PrimeBid will also allow you to edit or import one of your databases using an import template. The import template will show the fields that are in a CSV or a tab delimited file, and those fields will be put in order, and that import template will match your source file and import the information in your source file into a PrimeBid database. That can be either a master vendor database on its own or a database that is merged into another database that you might have. Prime Software offers pre-built databases of subcontractors and suppliers for all of the United States and Canada. They can be purchased in small or big lots, and there is a service that will allow you to synchronize Prime Software's data updates with the database that you have purchased, not changing any of the edits that you have performed in your database, but allowing you to get the information updates that are performed on the databases on a quarterly basis and do that synchronization of the databases every quarter in a 10-minute period of time. Wow, what a time savings. Thank you for your time. The next set of videos will be in regards to building a bid file in PrimeBid.